Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today, we need to talk about something that has stirred the entire Hero Wars Alliance community. JHU, the once feared berserker, the hero who dominated early campaigns and earned his place as a Hydra grinder, has finally received his Legendary Relic skills. But let's be honest. JHU hasn't been a serious PvP contender for a long time. He's been that early game powerhouse who slowly faded into the shadows of stronger, more adaptive damage dealers. Until now. With the release of his new relics, everything might be about to change. Will these legendary upgrades finally push JHU beyond his roots and make him viable again in competitive play? Or are these relics simply an overdue buff that keeps him relevant in Hydra and dungeon battles, without really shaking the meta? That's what we're about to find out. Let's break down every new legendary skill, analyze what they really do in combat, and see if JHU can finally roar again, not just against bosses, but against players. Now, let's start with JHU's very first legendary relic skill, Mark of Pain. This one activates 15 seconds after the start of battle, and every 20 seconds after that, JHU applies a Mark of Pain to the farthest enemy for 15 full seconds. While that enemy is marked, every one of JHU's basic attacks against any target also strikes that marked foe. In simpler words, JHU just gained the ability to hit two enemies at once. And not with weak chip damage, with his full physical damage, multiplied by his insane attack speed. At max level, the Mark of Pain skill already deals over 46,000 physical damage, and when you factor in JHU's self-buffs and bonus attack modifiers, that number scales fast. The result? Even when you're focusing on a frontline tank, JHU is now also shredding the backline, sniping healers, supports, or low defense mages without switching targets. This is a complete game changer for his battle rhythm. Before, JHU had to charge through waves of health just to reach his ideal target. Now he doesn't need to move, the mark lets him pressure multiple enemies at once, spreading pure chaos across the enemy formation. It's also worth noting how this mark automatically refreshes on a new target every 20 seconds. That means long fights, like boss battles or Hydra lanes, will constantly see multiple enemies under pressure. And in PvP, this creates a new layer of unpredictability. JHU might start focusing one enemy but still melt another without even looking their way. In essence, Mark of Pain gives JHU something he's been missing for years: reach. He's no longer a single target slave of rage. He's starting to look like a hybrid bruiser who can punish the enemy backline while keeping his raw frontline pressure. But this is just the first step. The next legendary skills decide whether JHU's return will be a true rebirth, or just another only upgrade. Moving on to JHU's second legendary relic skill, You Will Not Stop Me. And let me tell you, this one finally feels like a step toward PvP relevance. For years, JHU's biggest problem was simple: he could hit hard, but he couldn't punch through modern defenses. The meta evolved with heroes stacking insane armor and shields, and JHU, despite all his rage, was just bouncing off walls. That era might be over. This relic activates when JHU enters his rage state, and every attack he lands while enraged reduces enemy armor for 4 seconds. But the real beauty: when JHU lands a critical hit, that armor reduction doubles instantly. At max level, this relic already applies an armor reduction of over 4,600 points, and since JHU attacks fast, that debuff stacks like wildfire. Every slash he throws now weakens his enemies for the entire team, turning him into both a damage dealer and a debuffer. In practical combat, this means his allies, especially physical attackers like Kayla, Boya, or even Daredevil, will deal significantly more damage right after JHU hits. And when those crits start flying, armor melts faster than ever. It's also important to note how this skill changes JHU's combat identity. He's no longer just the reckless berserker who burns out after a few seconds of rage. Now, every moment of his fury matters, every swing weakens his opponent's defenses and amplifies team synergy. So yes, "You will not stop me" isn't just a name, it's a promise. This relic allows JHU to break through heavy defenses, punish tanks that once stonewalled him, and make him viable again in longer, drawn-out fights. Combine this with Mark of Pain, and JHU is now applying backline pressure while simultaneously stripping away frontline armor. For the first time in a long time, his rage feels tactical, not wasted. And that's exactly what we wanted from this rework, a JHU who's not just strong, but smartly strong. Now this is where things start getting spicy. JHU's third legendary relic skill, "I will take your life," finally gives him a weapon against one of the biggest problems in hero wars, Alliance, shielded enemies. Every player knows how frustrating it is when Julius, Astaroth, or Aiden put up those massive shields and turn your strongest attacks into harmless sparkles. But JHU, not anymore. With this relic active, whenever JHU strikes a shielded enemy, he deals bonus pure damage based on the target's maximum health. Let that sink in, this isn't just a fixed damage boost. It scales directly with how tanky the enemy is. The bigger the shield, the harder JHU hits. At full relic power, he deals 10% bonus pure damage against shielded foes. And because it's pure damage, it completely ignores armor, defense, and mitigation, it just slices through everything. This instantly gives JHU a deadly edge against some of the most common defensive heroes in the current meta. Julius? Heavily punished. Astaroth? His shields turn into magnets for JHU's rage. Even heroes like Andvari and Martha who rely on layered protection will struggle once JHU locks onto them. It's poetic in a way, JHU was always about pure, relentless offense. But now, instead of being stopped by defense, he feeds on it. The more the enemy protects themselves, the more they suffer. And here's the beauty of it, when combined with his previous relics, the synergy becomes terrifying. Mark of Pain lets him hit multiple enemies. "You will not stop me" shreds their armor. And now, "I will take your life" burns straight through their shields. No matter how well defended the enemy team looks, JHU now has a way to tear through it. This is the moment where he starts crossing the line from Hydra-only hero to possible PvP threat. He's not just back for vengeance, he's back to remind everyone why he was once feared. And now, we reach the apex of JHU's transformation, the skill that defines the very name of his rage, Triple Fury. Unlocked at level 30 of his legendary relic, this ability does something brutally simple and completely devastating. From this point forward, every one of JHU's critical hits deals triple damage. Not double. Not bonuses. Triple. When you combine that with his natural attack speed, his insane crit frequency, and the stacking synergy from his other relics, you begin to understand the scale of destruction this creates. JHU doesn't just hit hard anymore, he deletes heroes. One crit can drop a midline mage instantly. 2 in a row. That's enough to erase tanks who once laughed at him. Let's think about how this connects to his full kit. Mark of Pain lets him strike multiple enemies. "You will not stop me" strips their armor clean. "I will take your life" punishes every shielded foe. And now, Triple Fury turns every single crit into a catastrophic blast of power. It's the final piece that transforms JHU from an old-school bruiser into a serious arena threat. He now has range, armor shredding, shield breaking, and a damage ceiling that rivals even top physical assassins. And the best part? This power comes with zero complexity, it's pure, instinctive destruction. JHU hits. JHU crits. And when he crits, the battlefield burns. This is the first time in years that we can confidently say, JHU might not just be a Hydra legend anymore. He might be walking back into the PvP arena to remind everyone why they used to fear that furious laugh echoing across the Dominion. So Guardians, here we are. The ancient warrior of rage has awakened with 4 legendary relic skills that completely redefine his role. From split target destruction with Mark of Pain, to armor melting fury in You Will Not Stop Me, to pure shield piercing vengeance with I Will Take Your Life. And finally, the unstoppable Crete storm that is triple fury. JHU's rework is not just a power spike. It's a statement. He's no longer the early game hero we once used and benched. He's evolved into something far more dangerous, a hero who can finally stand toe-to-toe with the modern elite of Hero Wars, Alliance. The only question now is, will you be ready when this raging beast steps back into your arena? Because one thing's for sure, once JHU starts his rampage, no shield, no armor, and no wall will stand in his way. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.